They have not lost the Big East home opener since Ronald Reagan's last year in the White House. Can UConn extend that streak to 24 games? Find out next on CPTV.
It's been 4 years and 10 months since UConn lost a game here. Tonight we are at the XL Center in Hartford, where it will be the West Virginia Mountaineers versus the second-ranked Connecticut Huskies. Before the season, the Big East coaches picked UConn, a 17-time regular season champion, to finish second in the league. West Virginia was picked to finish ninth. And a very pleasant good evening, everyone. I'm Bob Picozzi along with Megan Kumo. Thanks so much for joining us for UConn's Big East home opener. The Huskies are #1 in the country in scoring defense. West Virginia's #3. So, Meg, what do you say? First 1 to 20 wins?
Yeah, right. And winners take the ball, right? We'll play make it, take it. But, you know, the thing about these two teams, they take tremendous pride in their defense. It should be an outstanding battle in the half court. You have two coaches who are really, really good at teaching defense.
And last time out against Fairfield, UConn rediscovered one of its offensive weapons.
Well, they did, and it was a perfect time of the season for Steph Dolson to really have her own little coming out party. The best game of her sophomore stint here. She came out so aggressively looking for the basketball, but most importantly, her teammates looked for her, and they found her early and often. She crashed the offensive glass. And how about my girl at 6'5", running the floor, scoring on the break? Her productivity was impressive. To get 22 points in 18 minutes is a Herculean effort, and they're going to need more of that type of basketball from Dolson, not only tonight and certainly Saturday against Notre Dame, but the rest of the way.
Now, West Virginia has someone who can match Dolson's size in the post.
Oh, yeah. It's 6'4". Asia Bussey is a big body in size for them. She's a junior. She's a co-captain. She is a machine. She has started every game of her career. She's second in the Big East in blocks. She's an outstanding defender. It should be a really fun matchup.
Now, UConn has been a tough out here in Hartford. The Huskies have won their last 44 games here. The last time they lost in this building, how about March 6, 2007? Can West Virginia challenge that streak tonight? The opening tip is next.
I'm Keisha Swanye, and you're watching UConn Women's Basketball on CPTV.
And Happy New Year to Keisha. Bob Picozzi and Megan Kumo back here in Hartford, all set for the 25th meeting between UConn and West Virginia. Let's check out the starting lineups. First, for the visitors from Morgantown, West Virginia, Taylor Palmer having a great sophomore year. She leads the Big East in three-point field goals. She already has 40 of them. She's shooting 36% from behind the arc and leads the team in scoring with 15 points per game. And for UConn, Tiffany Hayes scored 23 points in 27 minutes last time out against Fairfield. She took 11 shots and she knocked down 8 of them. Mike Carey has coached West Virginia to 4 NCAA tournament appearances in his last 5 years. He is a 2-time Big East Coach of the Year. And Gino Auriemma for UConn is a 10-time Big East Coach of the Year and an 8-time National Coach of the Year. And what are Kumo's keys to tonight's game?
Well, they got to be offensive because you're playing against a really good defensive West Virginia ball club. And you got to keep dumping it to Dolson. We talked about her up top. Keep getting her the ball, and it is rebound and repeat. West Virginia is 10th in the nation in rebound margin and 10-1 when they out-rebound their opponents. So if UConn rebounds, they will repeat Big East championship. What, it would be 18.
And Meg Caroline Doty has turned her season around, and she's contributing much more at the offensive end in the last several games.
Well, I mean, look at those numbers. I mean, that tells the story. You know, that concussion really put her back a little bit, as well as some of the other injuries she's had.
Susan Blau tosses the ball up. She's working tonight with Tom Danaher and Luis Gonzalez. And off the tap, Susan Blau and Luis Gonzalez come together. And what are we going to do? We're going to do a do-over?
Let's just throw it up again.
Looks like they're heading back to the center circle. Who said that you only have mulligans in golf? And it is Dolson and Bussey. We talked about them in our open jumping center. Dolson at 6'5" and Bussey at 6'4".
Oh, Bussey got the quick leap.
Mountaineers wearing the dark blue road unis. Huskies start out man-to-man. UConn 11-1, 1-0 in the league. West Virginia 10-3 and 1-0 in the conference. Down low, Bussey left her feet, had nowhere to go. Palmer hits her first shot, or make it Crystal Caldwell with her first shot of the night. Bria Hartley, defended by Linda Stepney, number 22. Up high, Dolson, and on the backdoor cut, I think Hartley was being held. Foul will be on Stepney, and the first foul of the evening. So right away, Megan, possession number 1, and UConn set the high screen and was looking to go backdoor.
Well, that's what they do. If they're going to overplay defensively, look for them to be aggressive and make that backdoor cut.
Doty comes around the screen, can't get the jumper to go. The putback by Hayes. The Huskies have controlled this series. West Virginia won the first meeting, and UConn has won 23 in a row since. The only time the Mountaineers beat UConn, the Huskies called the Fieldhouse their home. It was 8 years before Gamble Pavilion even opened.
Yikes. And I played in that place. It makes me feel even older.
It's always a fun place to be on a rainy day, wasn't it?
Yeah, if you want a concussion.
Cross-court pass, and Heather Buck looks like she has some soccer ability. She settled that ball very nicely. Unfortunately for West Virginia, Buck is on the sideline, so a turnover for the Mountaineers. Here's Hartley, who's having just a great sophomore year for the Huskies. Up top, Dolson finds Doty down low. Didn't take the shot, though. Caldwell falls down and leads to a wide-open Doty look. Long rebound is pulled down by West Virginia, and we will get a foul on Hayes. First foul of the night on UConn.
Number 3, Tiffany Hayes.
The Huskies opened Big East play back on December 9th at Seton Hall. And now, for the rest of the way, 15 of UConn's last 18 games will be against Big East opponents, including a huge game this Saturday at third-ranked Notre Dame.
Yeah, never an easy place to play. Oh, nice crossover dribble.
And we'll get a blocking foul.
Oh.
And Hayes picks up her second foul.
You know, the crowd, obviously the home court crowd is gonna boo, but I thought she was there. Let's take a look. I thought Tiffany had a great crossover. You know what? She was above the arc. I thought she was there.
So at the line will go Taylor Palmer. She's out of Mount Vernon High School in Mount Vernon, New York, which has just turned out great men's players over the year, including Kevin Jones, first team All Big East performer for Bob Huggins' Mountaineers men's basketball team. Doty on the run. Hartley with a tough catch in traffic, but she was headed over the end line, so she just threw it over her shoulder. Here's Stepney heading the other way. To Hartley. Right side jumper by Palmer, no good. Rebound pulled down by Doty. Doty to Hayes. She's got to be careful. She's already got 2 fouls.
Oh,
boy,
she got lucky there.
Yeah, that's a blocking foul, but that was living dangerously. It'll be on Stepney, and that's her second foul, and 2 on the Mountaineers. Get another look.
Well, just like the other way could have gone down the other end of the court. Whoa. Those 2 calls, I think, offset each other. Either one of them could have gone the opposite way, and there's no move now by the UConn coaching staff to get Hayes out of the game.
And UConn is an embarrassment of riches at the perimeter player position. They have a pretty good one that comes off the bench by the name of Mosketa Lewis, but Gino letting Hayes play through it. She goes 1 for 2 from the line. She's UConn's best free throw shooter at 80.9%. Here's West Virginia. Palmer on the left. Caldwell with Dolson's hand in her face, and Dolson gets the rebound. Good transition defense by West Virginia. Took away the break opportunity for the Huskies. Dolson sets the high screen roll. They didn't get it to her in time. Now Dolson and Bussey really doing battle in the post. Really going at it.
Bussey is a very good defensive player.
Hayes left her feet without an idea where she wanted to go. And Harley, who leads the team in steals, nearly got another one.
Well, and the physicality down low of Bussey, I hope that doesn't make Dolson move a little bit outside to that high post area. She's got to stay in there and battle against that big body.
8 seconds on the shot clock for UConn. Hayes, kick out. Doty, corner jump, fouled while taking the jumper. Was she inside or outside the arc? If she was outside, she'll be shooting 3.
Carey is mad.
West Virginia foul number 2, Taylor Palmer.
Foul on Palmer, her first.
Let's take a look. Yeah, she's outside.
Oh, that's a 3 then. She'll be shooting
sure
3.
Is. And look at him. He is ticked off.
So first foul on Palmer, 3 on the team. So Caroline Doty, who's attempted 9 free throws in the first 12 games, will attempt 3 in about 30 seconds. Doty, the 5'10 junior from Megan's hometown, Doylestown, Pennsylvania. And we mentioned Mosqueda Lewis. Here she is. So Hayes will sit down with those 2 fouls. Kalina Mosqueda Lewis, as advertised, having an outstanding freshman year. The preseason Big East selection for freshman of the year. And already a 4-time Big East freshman of the week.
Wasn't it the first 4 consecutive weeks?
Yep. Full court pressure by the Huskies.
Everything is advertised and then some.
Number 4, Brooke Hampton in for West Virginia. She leads the Big East in assists and a traveling violation on the Mountaineers. Turnover number 2 for West Virginia. Another substitution, Ayanna Dunning, who does not start but sees a lot of time. So Megan, West Virginia gets a lot bigger and a lot more physical now with Dunning joining Bussey on the floor.
Well, and look for Dunning to now match up with Dolson inside. And Bussey will move to the power forward spot, which in this lineup is Mosqueda Lewis. A nice recognition by Mosqueda Lewis to take her off the dribble.
Bussey's getting away with a hold on the switch. She's guarding Dolson right now, and they are just going at it down low. Farris counted and the foul.
So right now, West Virginia doing a really good job of taking Dolson out of the game. Connecticut's got to look for her, but keep moving without the basketball there. Farris, a nice job. I mean, she does all the right things at the right time.
First foul on Hampton, 4 on the team. Farris 81.8% from the line. Can't get this one to go. UConn by 4. They've beaten West Virginia 23 straight times. Palmer leads the league in threes. Couldn't get that one to fall. Rebound Dunning. And then she's stripped from behind by Mosqueda Lewis. And then Dunning takes it back. And we're going to get a foul call on Dunning. Number 1 on her, and already 5 team fouls on the Mountaineers in the first 3:28.
And Mike Carey is pleading with Sue Blau, like, come on, that's a horrible call. It's a physical game by 2 physical teams, and the refs, you think they knew that coming in, calling the game pretty tight early.
Hartley with the jumper, no good. Rebound comes to Dolson in the lane.
See, Dolson, you know, you got to shoot that ball.
Right. When you're 6'5", you get the rebound in the lane, go right back up.
But the difference here is the physical presence in there with Dunning and Bussey.
And now Farris and Bussey going out in the low block. Hartley with the steal, has Doty to her left. Nice take. Missed the shot, though. Rebound comes out to Caldwell. Here's Hampton. Down low, over the head of everybody. Turnover number 5 for the Mountaineers. UConn trying to extend the longest home court winning streak in women's history to 93. At the XL Center, the Big East Championship game, March 9th, 2010, UConn and West Virginia. Look at the play in the low block, physical play. Megan Gardler swinging an elbow or two for the Huskies. He's held West Virginia to 32 points that night. Check out the man-to-man defense there by Lauren Dixon, creating a turnover, and it resulted in a UConn win. The final was 60-32. These are the national rankings defensively this year. UConn and West Virginia very evident in those rankings.
Well, check out, look at that. I mean, anytime you can hold teams in the 40s in point production, and then their field goal percentage defense is just outstanding. And West Virginia rebounds the ball on the other end. They're second in the Big East at 18 offensive rebounds a game. So when you can mix that defense with some offense, you're a formidable opponent.
Hayes back in despite the 2 fouls and still being very aggressive. Couldn't get that one to fall. This is Crystal Caldwell, guarded by Hartley.
Well, that's just his coach putting faith in his senior.
High screen set by Bussey. To Hampton, guarded by Mosqueda Lewis. She leaves for Dunning. She'll hoist the three.
Wow.
And Mosqueda Lewis will just let the ball bounce out of bounds. It'll go over to UConn. Mike Carey said, I want our kids to watch how hard the UConn kids play. They play hard all the time. We want them to understand that's how you're supposed to play. Dolson got on the other side of Dunning, but then was called for the travel.
I thought he blew that whistle pretty quick. I don't think she had the ball in her hands.
Second turnover for UConn. Full court pressure.
And this is where Mike Carey is leery of his team turning the ball over. They've done a good job thus far.
And speaking of Leary, Crystal Leary's got a bad ankle and may not play tonight. Farris with the steal, then did a nice job of drawing the foul on Hampton.
I mean, Mike Carey thinks it's a bad call. I thought it was late.
Second on Hampton, 6 in the team.
I think Farris almost misfooted a tremendous defense to pick her pocket. And then check it out. Like, she did bump her legs. She did bump her. She was trying to get out of the way.
So Farris right back to the line. Farris was scoreless last Thursday night against Fairfield, but she did have a season-high 9 rebounds and equaled her season high with 8 assists. So Kelly will be going back to her native state on Saturday. She's from Plainfield, Indiana, and she'll be playing Notre Dame. And of course, the Huskies have a score to settle with the Irish. They're the team that ended their season in Indiana, in Indianapolis in the Final Four last April. Mosqueda Lewis with the steal and Hayes with the finish. And Mike Carey calls timeout. He is not happy with his troops at all. Very upset, particularly at freshman Linda Stepney. Mike is very much an in-your-face coach and somewhat of a rarity in women's basketball in that respect.
Well, we got 2 of them here tonight, both Mike and Gino.
Gino is like Casper Milquetoast compared to Mike Carey.
Well, and you know, to talk to Mike, he's one of the nicest guys you'll ever talk to. He's just intense, and sometimes in women's basketball, that's not okay. But I love the way he coaches. I love the way he gets after it, and he just coaches the game of basketball.
This is his only job as a women's basketball coach, and he's had great success at West Virginia. They've only been in the NCAA tournament 7 times in their history, 5 times in his first 11 years. And before that, he had a whole separate career as a coach for 13 years at the Division II men's level at his alma mater at Salem International. He took that team to a Division II Final Four. Here's the trap right in front of us, and a traveling violation on Stepney. So Mike Carey calls the timeout, got in Stepney's face, and then she proceeds to turn it over right out of the timeout.
Well, you know, the one thing that he stressed to me before the game is that, you know, he's worried that his young kids are going to turn, their whole perimeter is young, and are they going to turn the ball over against this UConn pressure? And in this environment with all this crowd and everything that comes with playing the Huskies.
8 turnovers already. Here's Hartley for 3. No good. And on the rebound, last touch by number 1, Crystal Caldwell. It's a very young West Virginia team. But if you want to ask Mike Carey about the youth of his team, I suggest that you make sure that he's not armed when he asks
Well,
him.
you know what? He brought it up to me. I know he had a different conversation with you.
Last touch by Dolson. He said, I'm tired of hearing that we're young. These kids are using that as an excuse. And there's proof that they're young. Only 1 senior back, only 1 starter back.
And the 1 senior plays 9 minutes a game, so it's not like he got the leadership out there.
But he said, look, playing hard has nothing to do with being young or experienced. You know, following a game plan, executing has nothing to do with being young or experienced. Let's just go play. Farris hands to Hartley. 6 minutes gone. UConn 10-3. Well, we said the first one to 20, didn't we?
Oh, my goodness.
We may not get there. Banks with the miss. Hartley back to Banks. Farris for a left side 3. And a box out rebound by Caldwell.
Well, the field goal percentage defense is holding true. Both teams shooting lousy. How about that block?
Oh, terrific block shot by Farris. Substitution, West Virginia. Taylor Palmer will re-enter, replacing Caldwell.
Well, currently UConn is shooting 25% from the floor, and West Virginia 20%. But this is where Kelly Farris is so good. Great footwork. Had her eye on the ball and hand up in the shooting lane there to block that shot.
There are the shooting numbers. Not pretty. Shot clock down to 11 as Hartley deflects it into the bench. UConn bench.
I got to tell you, I'm surprised Tiffany Hayes is still out there. And she's guarding a player much taller than her. She's guarding Asia Bussey
6 inches taller.
6'4", yeah.
All right, shot clock down to 7, but Farris picked Hartley's pocket, leaves for Mosqueda Lewis, back to Farris, and then she missed the rim. Wow. We've seen some good defense. We've also seen some, frankly, brutal shots in the first 7 minutes.
Well, we're going to focus on a defensive battle, huh?
Stepney for 3. Rebound yanked down by Banks. And Hayes will bring it up the floor. Farris on the wing. Gives to Hartley right down the lane.
Great quick take there by Bria Hartley. Hey, when in doubt, just take it to the basket.
Her first 2 points. We've played 7.5 minutes, and West Virginia had scored, count them, 3 points. And Mike Carey gets another timeout. They were trapped right in front of him. I'm surprised he didn't just reach out and take the ball away.
Who was he, Bear Bryant?
But this West Virginia team has only 1 starter back, has only 1 senior back. They're very, very young, but Mike Carey said, I don't want to hear about that.
You know, we're in the January. You know, we can only use that excuse so long. You know, you got to become a Big East player, and they're going to have an opportunity tonight to play against the top Big East players and the top players in the country in UConn.
Mike Carey's West Virginia Mountaineers a year ago finished 24-10, 8-8 in the Big East, 10th place, and in the conference tournament right here in this building. They beat Cincinnati in the first round and lost to St. John's in the second round. Out of the timeout, well, they ran something there and they got a layup.
Executed to perfection, right? Just like the coach drew.
First West Virginia basket in 6 minutes.
Well, we've seen UConn's defense do that to teams, Bob, just hold them scoreless. This is less about that, and I think just both teams struggling offensively.
UConn with all perimeter players on the floor, and Farris took it right to the rim.
Also showed some tumbling ability on the floor after that shot, doing a backward roll.
She's got 5. Banks got away with 1 there. Hartley, low block. Bussey spins, double team, gets it back, lays it in. Nice second effort.
Yeah, she goes hard to the basket. She takes it strong. Has been a little bit inconsistent offensively, but I like the effort that time.
So let's see if UConn can take it. They have all perimeter players. So West Virginia has a size advantage here, but UConn with the quickness advantage. Hartley with the pull-up, knocks it down.
You know, we talk so much about Mosqueda Lewis and about Dolson getting the ball inside. Bria Hartley is someone who is such a key player for this UConn team, particularly on the offensive end. They've got to keep her involved.
She's got 4. The lead is 9, and we'll get an offensive foul on Stepney. That's her 3rd, and 7 on the team. Kelly Farris going back home to Indiana on Saturday to play Notre Dame. But before she goes, she's got a date with the Mountaineers. And already Farris with 5 early points.
Underground. Can we predict the scale of the next big eruption before it strikes? Deadliest volcanoes on Nova.
Nova, deadliest volcanoes following the game.
Back here at the XL Center. The last time UConn lost a game in this building was on March the 6th, 2007. Came to Rutgers. Since then, UConn has won 44 straight times. This is what lies ahead for the Huskies. A very challenging month, both inside and outside the Big East.
I mean, think about that. You got to go to Notre Dame. Then you got North Carolina here on the MLK Day. And then you got DePaul at DePaul, and then you got Duke. So
DePaul with a
grueling schedule.
DePaul with a huge win on the road last night against Georgetown, a Georgetown team which clobbered Miami when they were ranked 7th in the country about 2 weeks ago. Off the miss, rebound West Virginia, and here comes Brooke Hampton. Dolson back in, and we have a Kia Stokes sighting. We did not against Fairfield. Palmer with the miss, but the rebound, Caldwell. West Virginia playing a lot better in the last couple of minutes.
I think maybe it was the animation of their coach. Got them a little fired up.
He is all that, animated. Doty down low block. Nice idea, but the ball poorly thrown off of Stokes' hand. Now, Stokes did not play at all last week against Fairfield. Gino Auriemma said yesterday, for the first time since September, I see progress. That's all we're trying to get. Now we will find out just how much progress. And obviously, what he's talking about, when you see a player not play at all, a player who normally plays, it almost it means two things: an injury, or she did not do well in practice.
Well, yeah, there's a message being sent, and I think she heard it loud and clear. She's a great kid. She's conscientious, and she wants to do well. But for some kids, the adjustment to this particular program is a lot harder than maybe they anticipated. But I think Kia Stokes is ready to take that challenge.
Harley went right around the screen set by Bussey, and all of a sudden, West Virginia's within 5. While UConn was holding West Virginia to 3 points, the Huskies weren't exactly lighting up the scoreboard at the other end. Hartley. There's just no rhythm, no spacing on offense for UConn. Held ball. The Arrow will keep it at this end. 13 seconds left on the shot clock. UConn to inbound baseline. Hayes to do the honors. After going 1 for 7 to start the game, the Mountaineers have hit 4 of their last 5. Shot clock inside 10. Doty kick out. Hayes on the dribble by. Sets up Doty for 3. Long rebound on a bounce to Palmer. Here's Hampton. All alone is Caldwell. And Dolson missed the shot. Doty finds Hartley. Catch and shoot. Rebound inside. Last touch by the Mountaineers. Farris re-enters for UConn, and she'll replace Hayes. Sort of has a sleepy feel to it so far tonight, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is. And a lot of times you'll get that when you got two physical. See, look at that. A lot of pushing, a lot of banging, a lot of shoving. Just two physical teams who play hard.
Went to Doty, who got bumped down low and is yet to get up. And at the other end, Palmer gets a layup. Now Doty finally gets up. And just like that, West Virginia is within 3.
And there was a big sigh in this XL Center crowd when Doty went down.
But she went down that time just because she got bumped. Rebound Stokes. And I think we're going to get a foul on, is it Palmer? Yep, foul on Palmer, her second 8 on the team. Let's see if we can see what happened to Doty last time down.
Bog was in there.
She got tripped up by
Her right
Harley.
knee got bumped there, yeah, by Harley. Better the right than the left.
So she went down hard, and the Mountaineers got a layup at the other end. So here's Stokes at the line. I got a suggestion to get these teams out of the funk. Let's call a timeout and have them go outside for a minute or 2. That'll wake them right up.
Boy, winter got here in a day.
Oh, my goodness. It was a balmy 15 degrees this morning.
Well, you get up at such an ungodly hour.
Well,
3:30, you leave your house.
Sometimes I get up and it's 75 at that hour, Meg. Doesn't necessarily have to do with the hour. Hampton. The trap. Caldwell finds Palmer. You don't want to let her get loose. And the Mountaineers pull within 2.
Well, she scored 33 in a game. She's had 4 20-plus scoring games. The kid can light it up and does so from behind the arc.
Stokes. There is just no rhythm to UConn. West Virginia's going to tie the game. They were trailing 12-3, and now Gino Auriemma will call the timeout. And the look on his face says that he looks just thrilled to death, doesn't he? So from 12-3.
This is the new year. This is the new year. He's trying to be positive. Give that about 10 more minutes, and then he'll lose his mind if they don't respond.
It is a
what he said, Bob, what are we running on offense?
Well,
because they're not running anything.
I was going to say, if he's asking us, it's not much. 15-6 Mountaineers run.
Well, and there you check it out. Now, Taylor Palmer is a sophomore guard. She's leading this team at three-point shooting. She's the one huge threat, but check this out. Look at that nice screen. Now there, if you see it right here, not only you got Dolson.
2 for the price of 1.
Yeah, you got both of those kids setting the screen. And that's communication defensively, and that's Dolson's responsibility because her man stepped up in there. That's knowing where, you know, that ball you man, you got to know where your man is, you got to know where the ball is and see both at the same time and know where the basket is. That's just simple fundamental defense.
Out of the Huskies timeout, down low, Stokes, tough catch, and laid it in. Interesting, Dolson's back on the bench. Harley gives to Dunning. Over Stokes, no good. Rebound comes back out to Dunning. Palmer for 3. Long rebound again. West Virginia is just out hustling UConn. A traveling violation will be called on Caldwell. Turnover number 12. Gino Auriemma's Huskies have won 56 straight regular season games against Big East opponents. Huskies not playing very well so far. Bob Picozzi and Megan Kumo back in Hartford, where UConn led by as many as 9. West Virginia tied it thanks to an 11-2 run at 18. Now the Huskies back up 2, 7.5 remaining first half. Kia Stokes remains on the floor. Stephanie Dolson remains on the bench for UConn. Esketta Lewis being guarded by Hampton. Esketta Lewis has yet to take a shot tonight. There's one. Can't get it to fall. Rebound bumped off the play was Hampton. And
yeah, Hayes did a nice job of keeping that alive for UConn.
Hayes from the right side knocks down the shot.
She deserved that bucket because she's the one who kept it alive.
She's got 7, and the lead is 4. Hampton, and she stepped on the sideline directly in front of us. Turnover number 13 for the Mountaineers. Considering that UConn has forced 13 turnovers, they only have a 4-point lead. You gotta get bigger bang out of your buck than that.
Well, when you shoot 35% from the floor and then have careless turnovers yourselves.
Wow.
Just makes Gino turn around and rub his head.
Palmer for 3. Rebound came down hard and Stokes couldn't grab it. Really wasn't her fault. Took a weird carom. Gino Auriemma is going to put Stephanie Dolson back in. Let's see if Dolson's a little more aggressive at trying to establish low block position and get the ball like she did against Fairfield. A lot easier to do it against a team like Fairfield than it is against a team as physical as West Virginia.
Well, absolutely. And the thing that you don't want is to have any sort of intimidation play into the game and into your head.
Reversal to Caldwell. Down low, Bussey wants to go right at Dolson. Missed badly. Gets it back. Outlet pass stolen. Farris ahead. Hartley one-on-one with Palmer. Nice crossover. 6 points for Hartley. And a little 6-0 UConn run has the Huskies back up by a half dozen.
And, you know, because they haven't scored a bunch, they haven't gotten into their full court press too much. But look what happens when they do, and this is what Mike Carey was concerned with these turnovers against their pressure. Carey's team has done a good job of keeping UConn out of scoring. Here you see the turnover forces the other way, and a nice finish there by Hartley. And again, that bucket allowed them to get into some full court pressure.
Hartley penetrates, sets up Farris, back rims it. Hit the top of the backboard, so it will go back to the Mountaineers. And Hayes is having trouble straightening up.
Is it her ankle or her knee?
Looks like it's the ankle. She's trying to jog it off.
Take a
Head
look.
right to the bench.
So there's a shot. Here she comes from the top of the key. Oh, there. Oh, it looks like she grabbed her knee.
She's going to take a seat next to Rosemary Regal on the bench.
Well, she started to take the seat, but fell onto the chair, and it is her knee. That's the last thing you want to see. And they're laughing. See, God bless Rosemary. It's making Tiffany laugh. Like, seriously, you just fell falling into this chair? Got to keep your sense of humor.
Well, hopefully that's a good sign.
You can see that the knee did get twisted a bit.
Stepney back in with 3 fouls for the Mountaineers. Harley goes baseline and throws it right into Mosqueda Lewis's hands. West Virginia's turned the ball over 16 times. Wow. Gino Auriemma's club is 5th in the country in turnover margin. Entering the night, UConn opponents had turned the ball over 102 more times than UConn had.
Right now, Steph Dolson's got to do a better job of keeping Bussy on her back.
Doty, Mosqueda Lewis for 3. Dolson with the offensive rebound. A fresh 30 on that shot clock. Up high, Dolson to Mosqueda Lewis, who is yet to score. Dolson fight for the ball. She and Bussy are really going at it again. They are really letting them play. Doty hits the jumper from the side. 8-point UConn lead. So since West Virginia tied it at 18 on an 11-2 run, UConn has scored 8 straight. Palmer for 3. Terrific box out by Farris, but she touched it last.
You don't realize how physical this game is. Check inside. The 2 bodies. Look at that. Dolson trying to establish position, and Bussy is a strong body with quick feet to get around and move out of the way, and that's why Dolson lost her balance. That's why you need a low center of gravity. You got to bend your knees.
Stepney picked up the dribble. You don't want to be doing that far from the basket.
Nice footwork by Dolson. That was a good move by Bussy, but terrific footwork by Dolson to take that shot away.
Mosqueda Lewis to Farris. Back to Mosqueda Lewis. Dolson sets the screen. Mosqueda Lewis gives to Dolson, who rolls to the basket. Got to go up stronger than that. Bussy was able to block it easily. Farris trying to avoid the held ball, and she does by calling a timeout. How often does UConn use 2 timeouts in the first half?
Not often.
30-second timeout, Huskies.
The next dead ball will be an official timeout, but Farris knew that if she did not call the timeout, someone was going to stick a hand in there and create a held ball. So far, the style of play, Megan, I would have to say is to West Virginia's liking.
Well, absolutely. I mean, they've been physical, and I think they've been more aggressive defensively. But one thing that impressed me, that last possession, I think Dolson learned from a little bit of her actions in the first half. Now check this out. See, there's Dolson. She's pushing her up the lane, okay? Now watch. Trying to get that off. It won't clear. Now see, great footwork to go around and make that shot a lot harder than it has to be. Great job by Dolson to not only body up when she got the ball, but continue. The way UConn teaches it is you have to take 2 steps to every one of the offense, and there she did a really good job.
Dolson will have a big challenge Saturday going against Devereaux Peters and Natalie Ochoa of Notre Dame. Farris called for the travel down low, and that'll bring us to an official timeout. But before UConn can take on the 3rd-ranked Irish, they have to tend with some feisty Mountaineers. UConn by 8. Some news out of UConn today as we look at interim athletic director Paul Pendergast. He was named by University President Susan Herbst as the co-chair of the athletic director's search committee. And at the same time, Paul Pendergast asked President Herbst to take his name out of consideration for the permanent position. So instead, he's going to co-chair the search committee, and he will remain at the university when it's all done, working with the UConn Foundation. So in a matter of, I don't know, Megan, perhaps another couple of months, we will have a new athletic director, a permanent athletic director, to succeed Jeff Hathaway at UConn, and it will not be Paul Pendergast.
Will be good for the Huskies to just get someone in there and have some stability and have a great leader lead this fine institution.
Out of the timeout, we get a held ball created by UConn. It will keep it at the West Virginia end with 14 seconds left on the shot clock.
At the end of today's game, don't miss the play that secured the win. You'll see our pick for the big play of the game, made possible by our friends at New York Life, protecting families for over 165 years.
So far, a big play would be if somebody could score 2 straight baskets.
Well, we knew it would be a defensive struggle.
Harley barely beats the shot clock. Rebound Mosqueda Lewis. And by golly, another held ball.
Wow.
This time it will be UConn's ball with 28 seconds left on the shot clock.
Well, this is a great entree for UConn into Big East basketball, because as much as West Virginia was concerned with the way they would play, being so young, it is physical, and you got to be tough. You got to be mentally tough. You have to be physically tough.
We mentioned UConn plays Notre Dame Saturday. The Irish are playing at Seton Hall tonight. Backdoor cut. Mosqueda Lewis still looking for her first points. Here's Caldwell for West Virginia. Doty took it right out of her hands, but will be called for the foul. Her first and only 3 team fouls on UConn.
Well, you hear the boo of the crowd. That looked like a pretty good block by Doty.
I think that, Meg, I think that was the first foul on UConn in about over 10 minutes.
Let's check it out. Nice footwork. Oh, that was pretty clean.
Remember, Hayes picked up 2 early fouls. That's the first foul on UConn since.
Wow.
Crystal Caldwell at the line, a transfer from Florida. Played for the Gators 1 year, 18 games,
nice
35
block,
points.
Kelly. Ferris, what a block out.
Here's Doty inside the 3-minute mark. Up high, Dolson, backdoor, Hartley, rejected by Dunning. Last touched by the Huskies.
Well, that's the beauty of having a big back line there. Dunning at 6'3". Only 11 blocks coming into tonight, but boy, does she change the offense from that back line.
That foul on Doty on West Virginia's last possession was UConn's first foul in 15 minutes. Shot clock at 10. Huskies in a 2-3 matchup zone. Tried to force it inside. Dolson steals it. Gives to Hartley. And she has it knocked away from behind, and she's knocked to the floor. Crowd thought there should have been a foul. And
you think?
Gino Auriemma is all the way at midcourt. He's going to get a technical here.
Well, that is an absolute foul. And a technical would be well-deserved if he were to get one. Tom Danaher wisely. I love, this guy is a seasoned official. He walked him back. And sometimes the ref, I have no idea what he said.
What are you doing here, Coach?
Yeah, well, sometimes he could say, you know what, we blew it. That sometimes gets coaches off the ledge.
Hampton, pull up, knocks it down. That ends an 8-0 Huskies run. Remember when West Virginia tied it at 18? That was their first points since inside the 2-minute mark. Doty for 3. That's UConn's first 3 of the night. They were 0 for 8, and West Virginia's 1 for 10.
Oh my goodness.
So between them, by golly, they're 2 for 19 from 3-point range. This has not been artistic. And as we look up, UConn averages 80 a game. They got 29 with a minute and a half to go in the half. Hampton for 3. Brooke Hampton, her 15th three-pointer of the year.
And she's known for taking care of the basketball. A great assist-to-turnover ratio there. It's a big 3.
She's 3rd in the country in assist-to-turnover ratio. Farris for 3, and her struggle. Oh, she got the shooter's roll with 1 minute to go. So UConn equals its biggest lead of the night at 32-23. And West Virginia comes right back.
Nice take by Caldwell.
Quick pass. Mosqueda Lewis goes right at Dunning. Can't get it to go. Mosqueda Lewis scoreless.
I like the aggressive move, though, Bob, by the freshman to take it, too. The 6'3" Dunning.
Hampton around the Harley screen. Farris managed to squeeze between the screener and the
best athlete on the team. Yeah, tremendous Lateral movement there by Ferris.
Harley, silly pass to Hartley. Has Doty left. Shot clock off. 15 to go in the half. Spinorama. And Mike Carey's going to use his third timeout with 9 seconds to go in the half. Highly unusual move.
Well, he obviously saw a teaching moment. Look at him. And these are the moments. This is the only time you can teach these kids.
Teach all he wants. He's only got 2 timeouts left.
That's all right.
So Hartley gets the layup. Let's see what do you suppose Mike Carey might be dialing up here in the huddle after he stops yelling at his kids for giving up the easy basket.
Well, he may not dial anything up. He may just want to yell. But, you know, obviously with 9.9, UConn doesn't want to commit the foul. So I would imagine some sort of just penetration all the way up the court. Just dribble it up and take it to the basket because UConn doesn't want to commit a foul.
Well, they don't want to foul a shooter.
Correct. So I would take it right to the hoop.
They actually could give a couple of fouls without sending them to the line as long as they weren't shooting. Here we go. 5 to go in the half. Hampton gets the screen on the switch picked up by Dolson. Hampton for 3. They would have been better off fouling. So Brooke Hampton hitting back-to-back threes to end the half. So that was a 2. Foot was on the line. That was a 2 for Hampton. So UConn has led by as many as 9. West Virginia came from behind to tie it. Then UConn scored 8 in a row. It's 34-27 Huskies. We are halfway home. Bob Picozzi back at the XL Center in Hartford, where at halftime UConn leads West Virginia 34-27. Megan Kumo is standing by with the associate head coach of the Huskies, Chris Daly.
Bob, thank you very much. CD, you guys came out with under 2 minutes on the clock. I'd imagine that was a very eventful halftime locker room.
Not too much. You know what? I think we know they're a very difficult team to play against. They imposed their will on us, and we didn't respond. But, you know, we did great defensively. It's our offense that, you know, we just didn't back cut enough. We didn't do a lot of things that we were really good at.
Okay, well, I'll let you get going because I know they need you in that huddle right now.
All right, back to you, Bob.
All right, Chris, thank you very much. Gina Auriemma did not seem to be all that thrilled during most of the first half. Let's take a look at some of the highlights in the early going. Very physical half. Caroline Doty takes a spill, and it results in a Brooke Hampton to Taylor Palmer layup at the other end. Palmer had 8. Hampton came off the bench to score 7 for the Mountaineers. Balanced scoring for UConn. Kelly Farish gets the basket, drew the foul, missed the free throw. Tiffany Hayes picked up 2 early fouls. She was also 3 for 4 from the floor. She scored 7. This time, Doty will dribble a little bit closer and drain the pull-up jumper. She scored 7 points. Bria Hartley played all 20 minutes. She scored 8. 34-27 the score. And take a look at the three-point shooting. West Virginia just 2 for 11. UConn just 2 for 10. And the Huskies scoring 13 points off 18 West Virginia turnovers. And as we mentioned, UConn at the beginning of the night, we mentioned the UConn #1 in the country in scoring defense, Megan, and West Virginia's #3. And the score pretty much mirrors those season defensive statistics for those two teams.
Well, I mean, I think that's the focus we'll take after that first half. And, you know, Chris did allude to it a little bit in that quick interview with her. You know, defensively they did some good things, but offensively, like she said, West Virginia was much better at imposing their will and pushing UConn around. The key for UConn in this second half is for Dolson to get more involved and not get pushed around.
There you see UConn, what they've done in their home opener since joining the Big East. 25-4, 23 in a row. Haven't lost a home opener since January 2nd, 1988. The Boston College, who of course is not only no longer in the league, they haven't been in the league for years. Let's also see if Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis can get on track in the second half. Hampton misses badly. Rebound Hayes. Mosqueda-Lewis came off the bench, played 15 minutes, took 5 shots, and didn't make any of them. Scoreless first half for UConn's leading scorer. Farris up high, Dolson. Dolson's not even thinking.
Well, exactly. That's the difference. She doesn't even turn and face. You can't be a threat to pass if you're not a threat to score. You got to keep the defense honest. She can knock down that 10, 12 footer.
10 to shoot for the Huskies. Side out to our left. Hayes looking. Throws in traffic to Hartley. Hartley drives, and Dolson will be called for the over-the-back foul, her first and one on UConn this half.
Bob, that's the kind of foul coaches don't mind. A nice aggressive effort getting in there, trying to grab an offensive rebound. You don't mind that one. I think there's a lot that he minds right now, but
2-3 Husky zone. When's the last time you've seen UConn 1 minute into the second half go zone?
Yeah, I can't even remember.
On the left, Caldwell with the pull-up jumper, and a foul will be called. I believe it should be on Farris. Let's look at Dolson at the offensive end of the floor for UConn.
Second team foul.
Now working, look at her posting up with Bussey pushing on her back. It's a physical game. And the physicality of this game, pretty much every moment Dolson's on the floor, she's either pushing around on her defensive end or she's getting pushed around trying to post up.
The last foul was on Farris, her first 2 on UConn this half. UConn committed only 3 fouls in the first half. Doty foul on jumper. She'll get bailed out by a foul. This one will be on Taylor Palmer, and that's her third, and 1 on West Virginia here in the second half. So Mike Carey starting backcourt, each with 3 personal fouls, Stepney and Palmer. And Doty will go to the free throw line for the Huskies. Next up for UConn, 3rd-ranked Notre Dame, Saturday, 4 o'clock, nationally televised game. Then we'll be back here at the XL Center for UConn and Providence next Tuesday, 7 o'clock here on CPTV. Providence tonight is playing at St. John's. Palmer. Pass to Harley. Cross court, Farris got a hand on it. Then Farris goes to the floor. We're going to get a held ball, and it will go back to UConn.
UConn ball.
Well, you've heard it a million times, Megan. If you're a good defensive player, if you're a good defensive team, everyone is going to have nights where you don't get your shots to fall. You name the greatest players ever. Jerry West, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan. They all had nights where they couldn't get anything to fall.
You're right, but you know what? You can't fault effort.
Right. Doty hits the shot. There's never an excuse to have a bad defensive night, though.
That's right.
If you're a good defensive player. Of course, if you stink at the defensive end.
Could be a nightmare for you.
Kick out Palmer, fires the 3, and she's had a rough night. She's got 43s this season, 1 for 8 tonight. Last touch by UConn.
He's like, what are you doing? Are you cutting to the basket or are you going for a 3? It's one or the other. You can't be indecisive. Can't go right in the middle, which is pretty much where she was.
Last time out against Fairfield. Now, granted, it's a Fairfield team that just from a talent standpoint doesn't match up very well with UConn. The Huskies outscored the Stags 50-2 in the paint.
Look at Tiffany Hayes. I think her knee's okay as she dives onto the scorer's table. Look at this hustle.
They don't have any arc over there to help the officials determine whether it's a block or a foul there over the Geico. So Dolson will inbound on the side. At any rate, Huskies outscored Fairfield 50-2 in the paint the other night. And so far tonight, at halftime, they had outscored West Virginia 18-16. So a huge advantage last time, no advantage at all tonight. UConn was out-rebounded in the first half. In fact, last year, Megan, even though the UConn beat West Virginia, well, it was only a 6-point game. They were out-rebounded by the Mountaineers by 8. And the Huskies seldom get out-rebounded.
Well, West Virginia, they are tough, they are physical, and they get after it. And I think they did a really good job of it. I like Dolson posting up tough in there, but I thought they did a good job of taking Dolson out of that first half.
Hayes for 3.
You know, I joked with Mike Carey before the game. If Tiffany Hayes get shots falling, you're in trouble, my friend. And he was laughing. He goes, you know, figures tonight she will.
Hayes with 10. It's the 75th time in her career she has scored in double figures. Good head fake by Caldwell results in an open look. West Virginia just can't buy a jumper tonight. And then Hartley is hurt on the floor. Looks like she's holding her left elbow. She's yet to get up. Doty will give to Hayes. Dolson, high post jumper, knocks it down. And now Tom Danaher will blow the whistle so Hartley can get some attention. She's holding that left arm close to her body. She went down, and hopefully she just hit the elbow on the floor.
You
and it's
know,
nothing
I
more
always
than
get
that.
worried that it's, you know, because it's so close to the shoulder. There it looks.
I think it's the elbow.
Yeah, it looks like it's just her elbow.
I mean, let's face it, it hurt. If you hit your elbow on anything, you hit it on a door jamb, it hurts.
Which, by the way, I did about a week ago.
Look.
And I thought I was going to die.
You want to compare Klutz stories sometimes. You're in way over your head matching up with me on that. We won't bore the audience with it.
I will talk to you about it during the next break. I'm sure I'll be laughing still when we come back on the air.
It was the time I tried getting in a cab and wound up in the emergency room at George Washington Hospital. On the right. Pass deflected by Farris. Down low, intended for Bussey. Stolen by Mosqueda Lewis. UConn has opened up a 15-point lead. Biggest of the night. Reversal to Farris. Lobs it to Dolson. Now Dolson had the ball down low, was being guarded by someone 5'8", and she passed it.
What about here? For 33, Ayanna Dunning. Number 1, Crystal Caldwell.
So we'll go back to West Virginia.
Wanted to impart some thoughts there to Dolson, like, why are you throwing it out of there?
Look, if Wilt Chamberlain's guarding, it's a different story. Wilt doesn't have any eligibility left, though. Harley, 10 to shoot. Dunning down low, Bussey double team. Shot clock at 6. Harley with 3. Doty on the floor gets the steal, and we'll get a held ball. And the arrow will give it back to the Mountaineers. But first, we're going to take an official timeout. Tiffany Hayes, in her UConn career, the Huskies are 125-3. She's got 10 points tonight. On this date in Husky history, January 4th, 2003, Gino Auriemma, Pat Summitt, the Huskies and the Lady Vols, right here in Hartford. Halftime buzzer, Diana Taurasi for 60 feet. Big night for Kara Lawson for Tennessee and for Taurasi. Her three-pointer with 6.9 seconds left tied it. Then in overtime, Taurasi with 51 seconds left turned out to be the winner. She had 25 and 8. UConn won at 63-62 in overtime, on its way to the second of 3 straight national championships. 2003, interesting season for the Huskies, Megan, because the Huskies went 39-0 the year before. Then they had 4 senior starters graduate, and with the only starter returning, they went on to win a second straight national title. It was a spectacular junior year for Diana Taurasi.
Well, that speaks to her greatness, because to me, she's the best player that ever played. As there's a foul here, I think, on Bussey.
Yep, for throwing the elbow.
Well, you know, they can't call it every time. And Bussey is physical. She bumps, she pushes. And there, it was just a little too blatant. They had to call it.
First on Bussey, 2 on the Mountaineers this half.
But Taurasi put her team on her back and won that national championship.
And then did it again her senior year.
She was the greatest ever.
Mosqueda Lewis still looking for her first points. 0-4-6. Hampton. Good to see Tiffany Hayes back on the floor. We saw her go down holding that knee. Haven't seen Bria Hartley return since banging her elbow. But a good sign, she's sitting next to Chris Daly in the middle of the bench instead of next to Rosemary Regal at the end of it.
Exactly. I just saw her look at her elbow and try to bend it.
Mosqueda Lewis with the miss. Rebound Dolson as Farris went flying. Now Gino Auriemma is calling the play from the sideline.
And this is calling for lots of motion. See, yeah, be a threat.
Dolson up high.
Look at where her defender is. We're way down in the middle of the key.
Hayes for three. Back rims it. Rebound pulled down by Dunning. She had 15 of them last time out against Elon. Hampton will reset the offense. Hampton up high. Hartley will come in at the next whistle. Lobs down low. Bussey being guarded by the much shorter Farris. And a foul is called on Farris.
A reminder for our fans, stay tuned for the play that secured the win coming up after the game, made possible by our friends at New York Life, protecting families for over 165 years.
Correction, the foul was on Dolson, her second three on the team.
Number 20, Asia Bussey, shooting 2.
And at the free throw line will go Asia Bussey, the 6'4" junior from Randallstown, Maryland. Her coach Mike Carey says Bussey runs the floor well for someone her size, and she plays great defense. He is very fond of his only returning starter.
Well, and look at the difference I think that she's made in this game. I mean, I think she has taken Dolson out of the game, you know, and we talked about Stephanie coming off of her best effort against Fairfield, and you want to build on games in college, and you got to give a lot of credit to Bussey there with a nice block.
For Bussey, her 154th career block, third most in school history. She's second in the Big East in that category. It was her 28th of the year. Hampton. Caldwell. Down low Bussey, and Stokes deflected the pass out of bounds with 12 seconds to shoot. So Hartley is back in there, and evidently that elbow isn't hurting that badly.
Good thing it's not her shooting arm.
Up high, Bussey gets a step on Stokes and blows right past her.
Let me tell you what, she used Kia Stokes there, little junior.
Finally, Mosqueda Lewis. It took her 26 minutes and 30 seconds to score her first points of the night.
And did it with authority, getting fouled. You know, while on the other end, the junior took the freshman to the hole. But check out this. That's just keeping your head up, knowing you're going to get fouled, and concentrating on what you got to do, and great upper body strength.
Foul on Caldwell. Her first three in the team. So Mosqueda Lewis was 0 for 8 from the floor before hitting that shot. And completes the three-point play. Hampton gives to Bussey. Wants to go at Stokes again, and does. Stokes got a piece of the ball, but will be whistled for her first foul, and number 4 on UConn this half. So 2 possessions in a row. The experienced Bussey is taking the freshman to school.
Well, you know, this is an important time. Stokes looking over at the bench. Man, if I were you, don't look over there.
You never look over there.
Especially after you got used 2 times in a row. The way to take care of it is don't get used the third time.
Bussey knocks down the free throw. Bussey made the Big East all-freshman team 2 years ago. Has always been a prolific shot blocker. Had 300 of them in her high school career, where they only play 32-minute games.
I mean, that's just anticipation, timing.
Hartley, who's went off Hampton's foot, 22 to shoot for the Huskies. So Hayes will inbound directly in front of the UConn bench. Farris to Hartley. Up high, Stokes.
See, her man's not guarding her, and she's clogging up the lane. That's why it's important to be a threat to score from that high post.
Hartley spins with 2, just beats the shot clock. And Gino Auriemma is irate. He's putting Doty on. I think he's mad at Hayes. Let's see. We'll find out in our next whistle who he's mad at. Lob down low. Bussey just killing the Huskies. 3 possessions in a row.
And you got to give credit to West Virginia for exploiting that time and time again.
Well,
you were right.
It is Hayes who's leaving.
Now check this out. There was a complete breakdown, and Mosqueda Lewis came over too little too late to help. But what happened to Kia Stokes?
Bussey with the miss. Doty kept the rebound alive to Mosqueda Lewis. Has Hartley left instead to the trailer Farris. Here's Stokes up high. All right, Meg, when you get the ball there and your man's giving you 3 feet,
you got to dribble in and at least make him guard you. I mean, I know Kia Stokes isn't your first option, but a foul shot is a foul shot. And her man sagging off in the lane is messing up everything for everybody else. See, check this out. Now look at this. Look at her man is way here. Come on, turn around, face up, and take that jump shot from the foul line.
Foul on Stepney, her fourth. No one boxed out Mosqueda Lewis, who got a chippy. She's got 5. So Stepney, after picking up her fourth, she takes a seat on the bench. She hasn't been much of a factor tonight in her first game of her career against the Huskies. Bussey to Palmer, who's had a rough shooting night. Back to Bussey. Shot clock all the way down to 5. Harley.
Nice quick pass.
And Crystal Caldwell with the late shot clock jumper.
Well, and that was the last second pass by Harley to Caldwell in the corner to free that up.
She's got 9. UConn by 15. 11 minutes remaining. Second Big East game for both teams. Each won their opener. Farris up high. Dolson to the cutter. Farris.
You knew that was coming. I saw that play coming. The minute Farris threw it to Dolson, she took off to the hoop.
10 points for Farris. Palmer just can't get it to go. The struggles continue. She's 1 for 10 from 3-point range. Hartley penetrates, sets up Doty. Rebound in the lane on a hop to Palmer.
Mosqueda Lewis, I think she fouled Farris.
Quickly the other way, it's Caldwell. She'll be bumped by Dolson. Foul number 3 on her and number 6 on the Huskies. And the Mountaineers will be shooting a couple of free throws when we come back. UConn trying to make it 167 straight against an unranked opponent.
Hi, I'm Diana Taurasi, and CPTV brought me and my teammates into your living room, and we won 3 national championships. Please continue to support CPTV and their quest to bring you future Husky stars throughout the years.
It's UConn by 17, and the UConn men's and women's basketball program received great news last week with the announcement that Peter and Pamela Worth have donated $4.5 million for the construction of a new practice facility. It will be, in effect, a basketball laboratory for the men's and women's teams. All of the top programs in the country have them. In fact, they've had them for years, and UConn has sort of fallen behind in the arms race. Meg, it's going to be located on the site of Memorial Stadium, which was the old UConn football stadium before they joined the big time and played at Rensselaer Field. And it was a great job by Paul Pendergast, the interim athletic director, and also Gino Auriemma, who knows the Worths very well, to convince them to step forth. And the hope is that other people will make a contribution, and something that's been talked about for years finally is going to become a reality.
And you cannot thank the Worths enough for their generosity to donate that kind of money to the university, but they're doing it for the student athletes, because that's, you know, people like that, when they give that kind of money, I mean, all you can do is just be eternally grateful. And as a former student athlete here, I'm just in awe that there are people, there have always been good people like that, but they just take it to a new level, and it's wonderful.
Dolson misses the jumper. Rebound pulled down by Bussey as we approach the 10-minute mark. UConn by 15. Harley lost her footing. Caldwell pull up. She's got 11. Caldwell, the sophomore, make it 13. The sophomore from Charlotte. Last touch by West Virginia.
Well, what a great heads-up play by Kelly Farris. As she was going to hit the ball, that rebound that came down, she knocked it off of a West Virginia player to keep it a UConn possession. Another savvy, look at that. That was all intentional by Kelly Farris. She's just so smart.
Dolson gives to Hartley. Played by Hampton in the Mountaineers man-to-man.
Look how far off of Dolson Bussey is.
Yep. Well, they got to get it to her.
Well, yeah, and shoot it.
Well, she heard you.
Absolutely. And you know what? It's okay. Even if it doesn't go in, shoot the ball.
And Farris again tried to knock off a Mountaineer. Didn't work this time.
You at least have a chance for a rebound. And Dolson's a good enough shooter. She'll knock that down.
The idea is, right, to get it into the middle and force the defense to defend both sides of the floor, right?
Absolutely. Well, yeah, but they don't even have to there, because when Dolson catches the ball, her defender is nowhere on her. So you got to keep the defense honest.
Reverse the ball and good things happen. Bussey spins on Dolson. What a take.
That was just a sick move.
Asia Bussey's taking over this game in the second half. She's got 9.
You know, confidence is a funny thing.
Farris cut one way, then the other, but the pass was deflected. Turnover number 12 for UConn. So West Virginia hanging around. Basket here could cut the lead to single digits again. Caldwell. Harley gives to Bussey. She goes right back at it. And
whoa,
she'll be called for the charge for throwing the elbow.
Oh my gosh, Mike Carey may lose his mind. Oh my goodness.
Second personal foul on Bussey, 5th team foul.
Wow, let's see what the deal here. It was a great move.
Well, she cleared her out.
She did push off a little bit.
2 on Bussey, 5 on the team.
But the hard part for someone like Mike Carey, and it happened right in front of him, is that the game has been physical on both ends all night, and then you call that?
If it had gone the other way, it would have been 4 on Dolson. So a big call. Hartley gets the layup.
Well, that's a big turn of events there in this game.
So now the lead is up to 13, and down low, Farris tried to front Bussey and will be called for the foul. That's 2 on her.
Is that a makeup?
And 7 on UConn. So West Virginia will go to the line. Remember we said in the first half, UConn went 15 minutes without committing a foul.
They made up for it here, huh?
Well, they have West Virginia in the bonus with 8:23 to go. Now, having said that, the Mountaineers have not been a very good free throw shooting team. They're 10th in the Big East at 67%. But they can get some free ones down the stretch here. West Virginia has won 3 in a row and 7 of its last 8. The only loss in that stretch is a 6-point loss at Duquesne. Mountaineers don't exactly play the most challenging non-conference schedule in the world. In fact, before the game, when you were telling me how you were congratulating Mike Carey for having such a great defensive season, and he said, yeah, well, look who we played.
Yeah, you know, he recognizes they haven't had the most challenging schedule, but he's got a young team. He did the right thing by not scheduling a killer schedule when you got a young team. That could be demoralizing.
Over and back call on the Huskies. This is the upcoming schedule. Of course, everything on your screen now, but the Marshall game is a Big East game. Marshall, a big non-conference rival for the Mountaineers. In all sports, intra-state battle. The Thundering Herd. Hampton for 3, no good. And the rebound will bounce untouched into the West Virginia bench. Timeout, 7:57 remaining in this one. Kelly Farris to Hartley. We haven't seen very many transition baskets tonight. It's been a rough and tumble game.
Mystery.
My name's Zen. I'm a detective with the Murder Squad.
Michael Dibdin's Aurelio Zen fights crime and finds love in Rome.
It's all a game, Zen. You just don't know how to play it.
Vendetta. Zen on Masterpiece Mystery.
Masterpiece Mystery Zen Kabul Thursday at 9:30.
Some longtime UConn fans in the house watching their beloved Huskies. It's been somewhat of an interesting game and challenging game for the Huskies. They led by as many as 15. The Mountaineers just hanging around, and 8 minutes to go. The lead 11. Still plenty of time for West Virginia to get back into it. As we look on the floor now, Huskies going with their smaller lineup. At 6 feet tall, Mosqueda Lewis, the tallest Husky on the floor.
Oh yeah, I think Gino figured as here there's a foul on Caldwell. I think Gino figured, you know what, I'm going to put all guards in there because my big guys aren't getting anything done.
Second foul on Caldwell, 6 on the team.
Look at that. Wow.
Been a two-person effort in the second half. Farris with the left hand.
What a great take by Kelly Farris.
And number 3 on Bussey.
Now, did that foul go to Bussey?
I think so.
Yes, it did.
Third personal.
I love the recognition that, number one, she had a step on her, but she also had a 6'4" girl guarding her. That's just a savvy move by Farris, knowing that her quickness will get herself to the hoop.
Farris is an 82% free throw shooter, and she's 1 for 4 tonight. Go figure.
It's been a weird night like that.
Palmer. Big storyline in the game is Palmer's inability to get it going. A hold will be called on Farris, and that will be her 3rd and 8 on the team. So right back to the free throw line. Bussey spent a good portion of the second half of the line. Fortunately for UConn, she's only 3 for 7 from there as Dolson returns.
You know, Tiffany Hayes still limping a little bit on that left knee.
Shooting 1-1.
Again, next up for UConn will be 3rd-ranked Notre Dame in South Bend, Saturday, 4 o'clock on national TV. Then Providence here at the XL Center next Tuesday night at 7 on CPTV. Bussey has struggled in her career as so many other players have against UConn. This has certainly been the best game of her career against the Huskies.
I'm going to call that the Chris Daly theory. Every time she scouts a team, the kid who has never scored has a career high against UConn. And you figure that the odds are with her to have a good one. Nice pass.
Hartley. Dolson with the rebound and was shoved in the back by Harley. Jessica Harley, her 1st and 8 on the team. So Dolson will go to the line to shoot the 1 and 1.
And Dolson came back in with a physical mindset. Here the shot goes up. She's trying to get in position and gets pushed by Harley. You know, oftentimes the shot will come opposite off the rim from where it came from. She was in a perfect spot.
Gino Auriemma said at the beginning of the season that he felt that Dolson was the 2nd best center in the country, behind, of course, the incomparable Brittany Griner, the 6'8" junior from Baylor. Dolson goes 1 for 2. And after the missed free throw, Mosqueda Lewis will be called for the reach-in foul. That's 2 on her. That's 9 on the team. 1 more, and West Virginia will be in the double bonus. So it's very uncharacteristic of UConn. An observation made by so many opposing coaches is they play great defense and they do it without fouling. Well, they didn't foul much in the first half, only 3. They've made up for it here in the second half.
And you know, so much of the way West Virginia plays kind of brings it out of you. It's just so physical. They play hard. I mean, it's always a battle.
They gave it to Dolson. She set the screen, handed to Hartley, who buried the 3.
I'll tell you, that will change this game immeasurably if UConn can start knocking down some threes.
Hartley now with 15 points. The Huskies only 4 of 18 from 3-point range tonight. They lead the Big East in 3-point shooting percentage. Entry pass deflected, and here's Hartley ahead of everybody. And Mike Carey wants a timeout. Biggest lead of the night is up to 17 with 6:22 remaining. Hartley ahead of everyone. The Huskies starting to pull away. As UConn went to the timeout, a very animated Gina Auriemma with some pointed comments for Stephanie Dolson. You played for him for 4 years. You were never the recipient of that sort of
never. Well, here's my guess. Check this out. Now stop it right there. Now see how she just stepped right in front of Dolson. Dolson is supposed to come around and take that spot before her. And then she puts her hands out like, oh, excuse me. No, I didn't foul. Well, you know what? You got to step in front of that kid. See what he said? You got to step in front of the kid, take the spot before she takes it. You got to be a big physical presence in there. You can't react to them. You got to make them react to you.
Dolson coming off her best game of the year last Thursday against Fairfield. 18 minutes, 22 points, 11 of 13 shooting, almost all of it done early. And unfortunately, she has taken a step backward tonight. Huskies are going to need a much better effort out of her Saturday against Notre Dame. The 2-on-1 results in the dump down pass to Bussey. She's got 15 points. Her 8th double-figure scoring game of the year. The backdoor cut, and that should be foul number 4 on Bussey.
Well, and again, Bussey was able to get involved in that play. While it was a good thing for UConn that it was a foul on Bussey, but Bussey's 10 feet off of Dolson.
So 4 fouls on Bussey, 9 on the team. And back to the free throw line will go Kelly Farris.
2 foul shots.
Again, Dolson's got to catch that ball and turn and face and be a threat.
So Kelly Farris, thrill of a lifetime last April, getting to play in a Final Four in her home state in Indianapolis. She doesn't live too far from Indianapolis and Plainfield. This Saturday she'll be about, I guess South Bend's about 3 hours north of Indianapolis. And I'm sure Purcell Pavilion will be sold out and ought to be a great atmosphere for UConn and Notre Dame. The miss by Hartley and the rebound by Dolson. Farris thought about it.
Gino is ready. He's ready to spontaneously combust.
Dolson sets the screen for Hartley. And a great hustle rebound by Mosqueda Lewis, who is fouled by Palmer. And for Palmer, that will be her 4th and 10 on the team. Boy, the Huskies have taken Palmer completely out of the game. And I mean, part of it is she just can't knock down a shot. She's 3 for 12, 1 for 9 from three-point range, but she has not been a factor.
No, she hasn't. And UConn has done, once again, a really good job of taking away the opponent's top threat. And what I like about this last possession with Mosqueda Lewis getting that offensive rebound is she's trying to do things other than what she normally does. She's only got 6 points. She's used to knocking down more shots. But you know what? Right now, she's not knocking down shots. So get in there and track down offensive rebounds and get fouled.
She's 2 for 10 from the floor tonight, 0 for 5 from three-point range. She's the 3rd most accurate three-point shooter in the Big East. Full court pressure. Hampton gets it up to Caldwell with the pull-up.
Dolson got pushed out of the way there.
Bussey just rode her right out of the lane.
Bussey used her.
17 points for Bussey.
That's just, you know, physical strength and toughness. And if you're Dolson in that case, get a foul, but don't let her push you underneath the hoop.
Bussey's giving Dolson about 10 feet.
I think it's a mile, actually.
And this is not a zone. It's man-to-man. Hartley with the miss, but got bailed out with the foul on Palmer. Palmer has just fouled out.
Well, now check this out. Watch Dolson on the lower screen, right? Now watch number 20, Bussey. Just push, push, push. And she pushed Dolson right underneath the hoop. So she's just irrelevant to the play. That was such a smart move by Bussey.
So tough night for Taylor Palmer. 8 points, 3 of 12 from the floor, 1 of 9 from three-point range, and she leads the Big East in three-point field goals. She's got 41 of them, 36% three-point shooter. There'll be better nights for her. She was coached in high school by Patrice Wallace Moore, who is the wife of West Virginia Hall of Famer Lowe's Moore. So a rough night for Taylor Palmer. Of course, West Virginia will be back here in March for the Big East tournament. And who knows, Meg, when they'll be back after that, because West Virginia, of course, is leaving the Big East to join the Big 12. They claim they're joining the Big 12 next year. The Big East says, you have to sit out per conference bylaws 27 months. The matter is in court. It's a mess, to say the least. Court case won't even start till next July. But who knows if and when UConn and West Virginia will play each other again after tonight's game. West Virginia will be back here for the Big East tournament, but there's no guarantee that they will meet UConn over the course of that 5-day event. Stokes to Hayes. Hayes starts to go, gives to Farris. Mosqueda Lewis, pull-up jumper. She's got 9, and the lead is up to 20. So you look at the scoreboard, very deceiving game. It certainly hasn't played like a 20-point game. And Stokes blocked the shot, but will be called for her second foul.
Number 41, Kia Stokes.
Let's take a look at this.
10th on the Huskies.
Oh, come on now. That was clean.
2 free throws.
So to the line is Caldwell, who was North Carolina Miss Basketball her senior year at West Charlotte High School. Farris departs for the Huskies. 14 points for Farris. That is a new season high for her. She had 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and 6 steals, equaling her career high. Farris does a good job of filling up that stat sheet in those multiple categories.
What a pass.
Great look from Mosqueda Lewis to Stokes.
Nice sign of the future there as the 2 freshmen playing nicely together.
Hampton can't get the 3 to fall. And we're going to get a rebound foul, I believe, on Caldwell.
Yeah, Mosqueda Lewis had fine inside position there.
Her third. Both teams in the double bonus, so everything will be 2 free throws from here. Nice to get the freshman Stokes involved for the Huskies.
Absolutely. Here, the nice pass. Look at this, and then giving it back. Getting going. Better late than never. Huskies got a 20-point lead.
UConn cruising by 20. It's time to meet the Huskies. Celebrity status, nothing new to UConn players. Now in her second year, Lauren Anglin says it's an adjustment off the court when you first arrive in stores.
Last year it was weird when I got here at first, like going to football games and like everybody kind of knew who we were and stuff. It was just, and they'd be like, oh, can I get your autograph? Like, can I get pictures and stuff? Like, at first, it was, like, really cool. And it still is really cool, just, like, being able to just, like, make people, like, make their day by taking a picture with them or signing an autograph, like, with the team or something. So I like it.
And the fans like it as well. Big crowd here tonight at the XL Center. Megan, did you ever think back? I guess it was, what, the fall of '89 when you played your first game as a Husky? That the program would
How
rise.
about try '88? I even go back further.
Would rise to the status that when you're walking in the mall, you get recognized?
Never. Not even close. In fact, we had on the Gino show last week a clip from him in 1995, and that was, you know, 7 years after I got here. But he looked so different, so young, so thin, sounded different. He had more of that Philadelphia accent. And it is just astounding to think about how things have changed. It's wonderful. I mean, I'm still in awe every time I come into the XL Center, and there's a huge crowd here.
13 seconds left in the shot clock. And a push will be called on Stokes. And Asia Bussey, they ought to charge her rent. She spent so much time at the free throw line at this end of the floor here in the second half.
But you know what? She's earned it. She's played physical. And Gino and Chris have always said the best post players, they either score or they get themselves to the line. Anything else is unacceptable. And for UConn tonight, their post play has been, I would say, unacceptable. under those categories.
Next up for West Virginia, a home date Saturday at 7 against the Villanova team, which is off to a 2-0 start in the Big East. Last night, the Wildcats beat Pitt 70-62. Sketta Lewis with the miss, and the rebound comes down to Caldwell as we approach the 3-minute mark. Hampton to Stepney. Haven't seen Crystal Leary at all tonight. She has a bad ankle. She missed 3 games, came back in the last game, aggravated it, and has not been able to get off the bench tonight. Stokes blocked that shot. Also looks like she got poked in the eye.
Yeah.
Crystal Leary and Stepney were teammates in high school. In fact, they were teammates for the last 7 years.
Imagine that, right? Since they were 11 years old.
Shot clock down to 5. Bussey set a heck of a screen. Hampton shot clock at 1, and Sketta Lewis blocks it. So it will go in the books as a shot clock violation.
Stay tuned for the play that secured the win. Right after the buzzer, you'll get to see our pick for today's big play, made possible by our friends at New York Life, protecting families for over 165 years.
So the Huskies are going to make it 45 straight home wins. Last loss at home, either here or at Gamble, to Rutgers on March 6, 2007. And Stokes showing the nice soft touch, and look at the play by Hayes. The steal and layup. Now that's got to aggravate Mike Carey.
Absolutely. I don't know if it'll do enough to make Gino feel better, but.
Rebound Stepney. Drives to the hoop and hits the floater. And Mike Carey is going to get a timeout with 2:11 remaining and a 21-point UConn lead. So this is, we knew going into the season it was going to be a very different UConn team. Let's take a look at these last couple of Huskies baskets.
Well, here a great back cut, and then I like the little dish. And poor Heather Buck can't even clap. But you know, you gotta be heads up, and you gotta give the senior Tiffany Hayes credit for just the real savvy pick there.
It is impossible to lose a player of Maya Moore's abilities and not feel it. Huskies have lots of experience coming back. And so far this year, we've seen UConn play very, very well at times. Megan, certainly calling to mind the Texas A&M game, the Stanford game, parts of the Baylor game. But we've also seen efforts like this tonight, and they're ahead by 21, but they haven't played very well.
No, and you know, Gino, he's been complaining even in the 40-point wins. He's not happy early in the year, and I know fans must think, well, what's he talking about? Why isn't this guy ever happy? Well, that's because he sees them every day in practice, and he knows that their margin for error is really small. And he has seen them play very well, but he's also seen them capable of playing lousy.
Right.
And if they do it the wrong combination on the wrong night, they're going to lose to a team.
Like the next game?
Right. And they're going to, they may lose to a team that they shouldn't lose to. I mean, you think, how can you have that 11-point, how can you have an 11-point lead against Baylor? Obviously, they're the #1 team, but if, they should win that game. You don't want to take anything away from Baylor, but UConn, I thought, could have won that game.
Sketta Lewis had the pass block, but will be bailed out by a foul. So this is what's next for the Huskies. UConn ranked 2nd in the country. Notre Dame ranked #3. There you see the records. A great matchup. The first of 2 regular season meetings. UConn swept the Irish last year in the regular season, but lost to Notre Dame when it mattered most in the semifinals at the Final Four.
And don't think that game from last season hasn't played on these players' minds. I know Tiffany Hayes used it as a great motivation throughout the summer to work and get better. And, it's important to keep it in its perspective.
Irish winning tonight at Seton Hall by 38 points, so they've now won 11 in a row. And Muffet McGraw's team is 2-0 in the Big East, and UConn in another minute 45 will also be 2-0. So it has been a great rivalry over the years between UConn and Notre Dame.
UConn better play a lot better on Saturday in a very, very tough environment.
Wait, we're going to get a 3-second violation called on West Virginia. The Irish in Skylar Diggins have one of the absolutely best players in the country. She just killed the Huskies in the semifinals in Indianapolis last April. Lots of experience back. Natalie Novosel, another great player. Devereaux Peters, Natalie Ochoa. Should be a great matchup in South Bend. And what a great matchup UConn and Notre Dame had in South Bend. I think it was exactly 52 weeks ago this weekend when the Huskies won on that last second basket.
Was it the heads-up play from Kelly Ferris?
Right.
To set that up.
Yeah, it's because Maya Moore went the wrong way on the play. Anglin, number 12, is in. The ball is stolen. Here's Mosqueda Lewis spinning on Bussey. Michaela Johnson, 25, also. Haven't seen Heather Buck tonight. Is that wrist bothering her again?
Well, you know what? Maybe. I mean, she told me before the game it felt pretty good.
She's the only UConn player who has not seen action. Of course, Johnson and Anglin just got in. Johnson with the miss. Final minute of the ball
Tiffany
game.
Hayes grimacing again. Not sure why.
Hampton for 3.
Brooke Hampton, 3.
Brooke Hampton now with 10 points. Her 5th double-figure scoring game of the season. And we'll get a foul on Harley on the perimeter. So
a little
Hayes
too
will go to the
much.
line to shoot a couple.
Yeah, Sue Blau let the first one go at half court, and that one was just so blatant she had to call it.
This is the second top 25 opponent West Virginia has played this year. The Mountaineers beat UCLA when the Bruins were ranked number 25. But they will certainly see their share of top 25 opponents as they go through the Big East. Notre Dame, UConn, Rutgers, Louisville, Georgetown, DePaul,
yeah.
all ranked in the top 25. Rutgers is having a great season. Buried Syracuse last night in their Big East opener. Once again, Vivian Stringer with one of the very top recruiting classes in the country. Final 30 seconds. Hitting the jumper, Caldwell. So she's got 15. Shot clock is off, so the Huskies will not take another shot. So West Virginia battled. Fell behind 12-3 early, went on an 11-2 run to tie it at 18. Then UConn went on an 8-0 run and never looked back. Huskies led it by only 7 at the half, but then spread it out early second half. And with the win tonight, UConn extends the longest home court winning streak in women's basketball history to 93 games. 45 straight Big East regular season home wins for the Huskies. 45 straight wins in this building as well. And most importantly, the Huskies go to 2-0 in the Big East, heading into their big showdown with Notre Dame. And now here's our pick for New York Life's play that secured the win. Check out the great passing on this basket for the Huskies. To the cutter, Farris for 2. We'll get another look as Farris gets 2 of her 14 points. That's your New York Life play that secured the win. Final score, UConn 79, West Virginia 60. 14-point night for Kelly Farris. We will hear from her when we return. The Huskies go to 12-1. UConn extends the longest home court winning streak in women's basketball history to 93 games with a 79-60 win over West Virginia. Welcome back to the XL Center in Hartford. I'm Bob Picozzi. The Huskies had 5 players in double figures. One of them was Kelly Farris, and she's with Megan Kumo.
Okay, Bob, thank you very much. Kelly, a new season high, 14 points, and I love it. 5 rebounds, 6 steals, 5 assists. But how would you characterize this game here tonight?
Not what we wanted at all. It's unfortunate that that's been happening a lot this season. You know, we've come out and there's been a few games that we've actually put two halves together and felt good about it. And tonight we knew they were going to be a really physical, aggressive team. And you know, we talked it up before the game, and then we came out, and again we just kind of go through the motions, and we have a good 5 minutes here and then a bad 5 minutes, a good 5 minutes, and that's not going to work for us. So.
Can you put a finger on it, and can you see it developing? And I know you must try to stop it, but how frustrating is it to see it developing and nothing can seem to really change it?
Yeah, it's extremely frustrating, just for the fact even that it's been going on the whole season. You know, I think we kind of see it, and we feel good when we have our good moments, and then Coach harps on us all the time in practice. The second, you know, one person does bad or we can't hit a shot, then everybody can't hit a shot. Or if one starts hitting, then everybody's hitting. And that's kind of our downfall right now, is once a couple people go down, instead of everybody else picking everybody up, we all go down. So, you know, it's getting into the meat of the season, and we got to figure something out, or else we're not going to make it very far. So.
Who would you say is the leader on this team?
Right now, we're trying to do it collectively. You know, Coach keeps referring back to Renee and players like that. And, you know, we don't have that one person that has that personality. So, you know, we have to try to figure it out for ourselves of how we're going to make it work. And I think we've done a much better job of it, but I think we're still working on it.
Now, you talk about leader, and I know he's a great leader, but there was a timeout late in the game where he was losing his mind. Can you take us through, and maybe not specifically that timeout, but what it's like in there when, you know, things aren't going great in the court, what he does in that timeout?
Well, that happens a lot. So you get used to it, but you know, if you want to play for him, you got to realize you have to listen to what he says. You know, you got to listen when he gets mad and he goes off on you. You can't just tune it out and say, all right, well, forget you. You know, he's right. He's been here. He's done it. And, I mean, I've gotten used to it. You know, I was never really coached by somebody who really, really yelled. So I didn't know what to expect when I came here. But now that it's my third season, you know, I'm used to it. And it's just one of those things you got to know that he knows what he's talking about. So, and most of the time we're wrong. So we just kind of have to go with it and try to, you know, concentrate on what he's saying and use it. So.
Well, what do you see the next couple of days in practice leading up to obviously a huge game at Notre Dame?
Hopefully it's better than tonight. We've had some good practices, some bad practices, so hopefully, you know, we pull it together and we know what we need to work on, and we know this is going to be a fun game. So there's coming away from this game, we know there's going to be a lot that we got to go over. So.
All right, well, good luck tomorrow. I'm glad I won't be there.
Thanks.
And good luck Saturday, Bob.
All right, Megan, thank you very much. Thank you, Kelly. Let's take a look at some highlights, and we'll begin first half. Doty takes a tumble. West Virginia gets a 2-on-1, and Taylor Palmer with the finish. Brooke Hampton with a late first half jumper to knock it down for the Mountaineers. At the other end of the floor, Farris with the basket also drew the foul. And Megan, this time down, a Husky turnover results in a basket.
Well, that time they threw the ball and it hit the rim, deflected the Huskies' way, and Hayes finished.
And Doty with the pull-up, she had 11. Bria Hartley led the Huskies in scoring with 18. Second half is when the Huskies really extended the lead.
Absolutely. And they did it, you know, defensively. They used each other, and Hayes knocked down a long-range three.
This might have been the nicest basket of the night coming up right here. Look at the passing.
Well, when you're unselfish and you move without the basketball, that's what happens.
So it all adds up to a 19-point win. There are your stats. The Huskies 30-6 points turnovers. West Virginia had 29 turnovers in the ball game. The Mountaineers just couldn't get anything to go. 3 for 19 from three-point range. 5 Huskies in double figures. 18 for Hartley, 14 for Farris, 13 for Hayes, 12 for Mosqueda Lewis, and 11 for Doty. So the good news is UConn gets a win. They're 12-1. They're 2-0 in the Big East. The bad news is they didn't play very well. The even worse news is they have to play much better on Saturday, because they are going to play. The best team in the Big East is going to be playing Saturday in South Bend. And we'll know at the end of 40 minutes which one it is, because those are the two best teams.
Absolutely. And I think the key is UConn will take the effort tonight, work on it the next couple of days. And the story there is the number of points that both teams score versus what they allow. And unlike tonight, West Virginia imposed their will on UConn. If UConn allows Notre Dame to do that in Notre Dame's house, it's going to be a long night for the Huskies.
The Huskies swept the season series from the Irish last year. They won both home and home. But then when it mattered most, they met in the Final Four in the semifinals in Indianapolis, and Notre Dame won that game. That was the night, of course, that Tiffany Hayes did not shoot the ball well. Stephanie Dolson was in foul trouble all night. Maya Moore was heroic, but even Maya couldn't do it. So if you had to pick someone to step forward for UConn on Saturday, who was it going to be? Because Notre Dame is a very balanced team.
Well, the key word there is balance, and UConn can't have one person step up. They have to have 5, 6, 7 players. You know, everyone's got to play well. Dolson's got to come and really show up and not get pushed around in the lane. You know, they need help in their backcourt. Tiffany Hayes has to shoot the ball well. They got to play good defense. I mean, they have to do everything. They're not talented enough individually to have one person take over like Maya Moore did. They got to play well collectively.
So next up for UConn will be the nationally televised date at Notre Dame. Then we will be back here at the XL Center on Tuesday night for a date against Providence. We'll have that one for you at 7 o'clock here on CPTV. For Megan Kumo and our entire crew, I'm Bob Picozzi. Again, the final, UConn 79 and West Virginia 60. Huskies 12-1 overall, 2-0 with the Big East heading into their date with the Friars. Stay tuned next on CPTV for Nova, Deadliest Volcanoes. The preceding has been a production of Connecticut Public Television. So long from Hartford.